So next question is, what was life like, and you touched on this a little bit, what was life like before you introduced a new software experience into your day-to-day at Flaherty O'Hara?
Yeah, it's almost hard to remember, which is good. I think the thing to know about liquor licensing, especially retail licensing, is it's different all around the country in every single jurisdiction. So what you do in Florida is not the same as what you do in Georgia. There are city, county, state regulations, and the renewal process, which is what Tom is focusing on, what Evergreen does, which is help renew licenses around the country and manage portfolios of licenses. That knowledge, all of the attorneys in our office were holding in their heads, basically. How do you do X in this jurisdiction? We were passing that knowledge down to paralegals. They each had their own system, their own process. We knew almost immediately, I started the firm in 2009 as a law clerk. By 2011, I was there as an associate, and my job was making sure all the renewals were done. That was a manual process. One person, me, sitting there with a team of 7 paralegals saying, did you file this? Did you file this? Did you file this? Over and over and over again for years. We had clients come to us all the time, very organically, saying, we need an outsourcing solution. We need someone to do this. And there were all sorts of off-the-shelf solutions that managed portfolios of licenses. None of them were built by anyone who had any substantive knowledge as to what the process is, what the legal requirements are. And the stakes for missing a renewal are incredibly high. You have licenses all around the country that have value just like real estate. They're worth millions of dollars. You miss that renewal by a day, your license is revoked, you've lost the asset. It's a horrible news story for our clients. If the Mets can't serve alcohol at Citi Field on opening day, our name is in the news, and that's a huge problem. So we were very, I think, concerned about being able to scale this, take on the risk to do this work that we know existed, but we had no process and procedure to handle it. So after spending years learning what the process is everywhere, knowing that we wanted to market this to clients, that we wanted to fill this hole in the market, I think we really decided we needed a better way. And we spent years manually drafting cover letters, each individual person, assessing their strengths and weaknesses and assigning them to different jurisdictions that worked harder than others. So I think really the software solution fixed a lot of that for us and allowed us to feel comfortable with advertising our services and growing and scaling the way we wanted to.
Yeah, two things that I remember from meeting you initially was even though there were the access databases, there was a lot of paper still.
Definitely.
And you weren't advertising the service, even though people really wanted it, because there were no economies of scale.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. And we took Jeff through the entire process on paper. We had a 15-foot conference table. We had hundreds of pieces of paper saying, well, step 1 is this, and this person does this, and this person does this. And he's like, wow, that's a lot of steps.
So much paper. Well, and so this is off script, but one of the interesting things about your story is Evergreen, the first version, launched right before COVID hit. And I remember thinking, what if they were still in those offices with all that paper everywhere?
Absolutely.
What would you, so what was,
Absolutely.
I guess if,
and that's exactly right. March 2020, I think we were done with what was going to be the final build at that time in February. So we were planning, I think it was like March 7th or 8th, this big launch. We had this advertisement that was going to go out, and then it didn't for obvious reasons, right? Beyond our control. But that's the same thing that we said. It actually happened at the best possible time, which we could not have planned. Our industry, we always said, oh, we're recession proof. Oh, alcohol, everyone's always going to drink. People were drinking during the pandemic, obviously, but
at home.
That's right. At home, right? Our clients, they're not running your home bar, right? They're hotels, they're concessionaires. Right. So, we needed definitely to adjust quickly. And if we did not have this, we would not have been able to pivot the way that we did and keep track of the type of work that we needed to, for sure.